we have a little guest in the office today. Hoi hoi everyone, and welcome to today's video. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. So yes, as you can see, we've got a little visitor in the office studio today. Tinkerbell's decided that she wants to be in here. She's crying outside the door. She's been very needy today, haven't you? But yeah, I don't think she's going to stay in here because we have, just down here, you can't quite see, there's a ScrawlrBox to unbox. Yes, it is the July ScrawlrBox. We need to have a look at what's inside, do a little bit of swatching and see what our prompt is for a video later this month. So Tinkerbell, come say goodbye to everyone. Say bye-bye. Bye. There we go, and now we can start looking at this. So let me turn the camera around and we can crack this open and see exactly what we've got this month. Ah, there we go, much better. So, ScrawlrBox. If you don't know what ScrawlrBox is, it is a monthly art subscription box. The contents of the box, including the zine, the suite, everything else, always outweighs the cost of the box itself. If you want to go and check it out yourself, there is a link down below. I don't get anything back from it, but if you do want to check it out, there is a link. Right, let's have a look at what is inside. Let's see if I can do this in one take without messing it up. Ready? Yay! There we go, all the way off. Right, this is, it feels like quite a heavy, chunky one this time. Ooh, yeah, that's quite heavy. So these are our supplies. Let's just pop these over to the side. Oh, and this one seems to have escaped. There's a little eraser there. We've got a Scrawler zine, which I'm going to put to the side. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this print. Look at the whimsy in that. So this is from Rosemary Baker, who's a watercolour artist, and yeah, I've got a feeling we might have watercolours in this one because we've got watercolour paper as well as our medium to work on. So 10 sheets, 200 GSM. It's not that thick, but hopefully it will hold up to whatever we do with it. But yeah, if you want to check out Rosemary Baker's work, these are their socials. So go and check them out. It's always good to support other artists. Speaking of supporting other artists, don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, let's pop this over to the side. And I'm just going to have a little look here. So we know we've got a slim eraser, and we've definitely had this before. It's actually one of the erasers that I use fairly often because it can go in pretty much any art kit. It's so small. And then let's open this up. So yes, we do have watercolours. Oh, actually, we have watercolours I know very well. So first of all, we have our sticker. Very nice, taken from the print. We'll pop that there. We have a drumstick chewy lolly. That is vegan, for any of you vegans or vegetarians out there. I'm a vegetarian as well, so it's always good to know. We'll pop that there. We have a pencil, which is a, oh, it's a 4B this time, Goldfarber from Faber-Castell. I think before we've had the 2B, which is one of my favourites. So yeah, nice soft 4B. And then we've got a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Fine Liner in black. This is the medium, which is the 0.7mm. I'm guessing, because this has been put in here, yeah, it's India ink, it's waterproof, maximum light fastness and acid free as well. So I will definitely be testing that out because having waterproof pens when working with watercolours, incredibly important, and I have my preferred one, so it'll be good to see what that works like. So this set is actually one of the first watercolour sets that I ever got, which is running very low now actually, but this is the Winsor Newton Cotman watercolour set. It's a pocket size set to take. Actually, it's got the colours on the back, so lemon yellow hue, cadmium yellow hue, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine, cerulean blue hue, viridian hue, sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and Chinese white. Let's open this up. We'll have a little look inside. So it does come with a little colour chart. All of the Cotman's watercolours do. And there we go. It's got all of the colours on there. Gives you a little bit of information about granulation and mixing and layering and transparency and all that kind of stuff. So as well as the tips that will be in the ScrawlrZine, I definitely recommend actually reading this, because this will give specific things for these watercolors and general watercolor tips as well. Let's open this setup. In fact, let's get rid of this. Ready? Great. Oh, and of course we've got our eraser as well. So yeah, these are the Cotman's watercolors, and you can actually buy these from most places fairly inexpensively, so you can swap these out and pretty much make any set that you want for your traveling. This is a very good all-round set, but if you were going out into nature and you wanted more greens and blues and darker hues, you could definitely do that. They come all wrapped up as well. I'll open one of these and I'll do the rest off camera, because, you know, it takes time, and I'm sure you don't want to be watching me unwrap all of these. So we've got the little, these are half pans, and it actually says on the side there, Lem Yel Hue, and it also says it in French as well, New Jean Citre, which, yeah, it's abbreviated, but you've got the information there. I think it's also got the pigment code and everything on there as well, and then that just pops quite nicely in there. So I will unwrap all of these off camera, and then we'll go through and swatch them all out. We have little mixing wells over here, but this is one of the things I really like about this set. It's small, but it works, and in fact this is what got me into these travel brushes in the first place. So yes, it's a travel brush. You open it up like this, you slot it back together, you've got a very nice, very small travel brush. It's a round brush. I wouldn't like to say what size it is, but it is a small one. It's very good for detail work. In fact, my set of travel brushes, I have my original Winsor Newton travel brush in that set for detail work. So yeah, I'm very happy to have another one of these. What we should probably do is have a look in the ScrawlrZine as well. But before we do that, in case you didn't know, every month I do a giveaway on the channel, and the ScrawlrBox unboxing is where we announce the winner of the giveaway and also give you the word to quote down below for next month's giveaway. So it's not myself that does this, it is Finn, my social media manager. So I'm going to hand over to Finn and let him draw this month's or last month's winner and give you the code for the next giveaway.
Hello everyone, and thank you, Sean. Yes, it's that time of the month. It is giveaway time. So if you entered last month's giveaway, your name will be on this lovely wheel. Let's get choosing. Congratulations! If you'd like to be with a chance of winning a print from the store, all you have to do is comment this month's keyword. This month's word is turtle. Why turtle? That's none of your business. Just go below and comment. Until next time.
Well, thank you very much for that, Finn. Yes, please do go and comment for your chance to win one of the prints from my Etsy store. Just to let you know, while Finn has been doing that, I have prepped all of these watercolours. So I've just put a little dot of water on each one. It's an important thing that people seem to forget when they're first starting out with watercolours. Yes, you do need to prep them. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say value for money. If you're wanting to experiment with watercolours and start and try them out for the first time, this is actually a very good ScrawlrBox to get. Obviously, these are watercolours that I vouch for and that I use myself and I'm very happy with. But the fact that you get the eraser as well, the Pit Artist pen, the pencil, and a little sweet treat, yeah, I think this is going to set you up really well for starting your journey with watercolours. So, with that in mind, let's have a little look at the ScrawlrZine. So we have a little overview of all of the supplies that we've got in there. We have a sit down with the artist, so some work from Rosemary Baker. This is lovely. This is really good illustrative work. I'm very, very impressed with that. It's some really, really pretty things in there. Scrawler tips. So yeah, dry painting, wet on wet, mixing. This is stuff that is also in the Cotman's watercolour sheet, but this goes into a little bit more detail. Deep dive into warm up with watercolours. So how to get your eye working and just have a little bit of an experiment. We've got a bit of wet on wet in here, so it just shows you how to do this bunch of flowers. And actually there's a little tutorial if you scan the QR code just there. We've got some artist advice. So this is from this month's artist. We've got behind the scenes and a little bit about the process. And then the Scrawler Gallery. So this is off the wall. Oh yes, those lovely Posca pens along with the Winsor Newton Pro Marker. Got some very lovely works in here. I'm particularly impressed with this one down here. And then any names that I remember. Oh yes, Lady Doodlebug, Common Murphy, Mapleberry Studios. 3 artists that I follow on Instagram. I highly recommend going and looking at their work. There is some very nice stuff in here. Let's look at the top 3 from that month. So we've got Frankie Loader. That is really, really pretty. We've got Prim. And then we've got Annie Hellberg. Of course, I love Annie's work. We've got this very recognisable character down here that Annie uses, which is just so much fun. The little face on this mushroom is just great. I love that. We've got a little bit of, Scrawler Challenge Blast from the past. So we've got some past Scrawler challenges here to have a look back at some of the past things that have been done. There's some, some really lovely pieces in there. And then finally, we've got 7 themes of art. And we've got our Scrawler Challenge. So Scrawler Challenge for this month is Guardians of the Garden. I think I'm already getting some ideas for that. But as always, open to suggestions. So if you've got any thoughts on what we could do for that challenge, do leave that in your comment down below when you're commenting for the giveaway. Let's get into swatching this out. So first thing I want to do is swatch the Pitt Artist pen and give it as much time as possible to dry. So this is a 0.7. Yeah, that's really nice. These are really nice pens. I'm just going to do a load of squiggles on here. Because what I want to do is give this a little bit of time to dry and then go over it with water and with watercolour. The important thing to remember is that, when you're using pens like this, please do let them dry before you go over them with watercolour, because even waterproof ink will smudge if you don't give it time to dry first. And different pens take different drying times. It can literally be a few seconds or it can be a few minutes. So experiment with it. That's why it's really important to do these kinds of swatches. Just realised I don't have any fresh water in here, so bear with me 1 second. There we go, that's better, and that's given that pen a little bit of time to dry as well. Let's use the brush that we've got to swatch this out. One thing I will point out, and this is a minor bugbear with watercolour sets, it's just all of this rubbish from everything being wrapped up. I wish it could just be made a little bit more minimal, because that's quite a lot of plastic to throw away there. Right, we're just going to go through in colour order. I'm just going to pick up, and I'm literally just going to put it on the page. Okay, there we go. So this is why we activate watercolours first, because look at the coverage that we get from that, especially like here. This is actually quite opaque, and when you think about watercolours being, low opacity, yeah, they can be, but they can also be built up quite well or put down quite thickly. So really important that you activate your watercolours first. I'm going to go over this pen now, but I'm just going to use water, and I'm just going to do a little test here. And it looks like that's staying. There is a little bit of bleeding. There is a little bit of bleeding. Let me bring that up here. Can you see I can see the edge of the water, so that is bleeding ever so slightly. So we're not quite there with the drying yet. So I would say this would need maybe 20 minutes to dry properly and get it fully dry. Let's try it with a little bit of paint as well. So I'm going to do some wet in wet. So I'm going to put some water down, and yeah, I can see that bleeding a tiny bit. Let's get some of this blue here, because this is lovely. And you can definitely see the line work underneath. And line work with watercolour is an interesting thing. You can either do it before or afterwards, and it gives a different feel depending on whether you do it before or afterwards. If you do it before, you get much softer because the paint's going over the line. It does tint it a little bit. If you do it afterwards, you get a much more kind of bold, illustrative line. So make a decision on what you want to do. Obviously, the one that you really can't see on here is the white, and that's because white really is there to give extra opacity. So I'm going to put some down here. It does, of course, change the colour. But let's use, for instance, let's use some of this alizarin crimson. I'm going to mix that into the white. So we get a much more subtle pink colour, but we also get more opacity as well. And if I just add more water, let's really spread this out. You can get a lot of coverage with this. Of course, the downside is that we're using such a small brush. Oh, I seem to have made a little elephant down here. That was unintentional. Let's do a little tail here. We've got a little pink elephant. Okay, I might come back and ink that later. Happy little accident. But yeah, that's what the white is there for. It slightly changes the colour, but it also gives you a little bit of opacity as well. We do need to check, of course, our pencil. So the reason we've been given a 4B pencil is because it is a soft grade lead. So that means that actually you can sketch very lightly. You're not laying down, you're not grinding the graphite into the paper, which you definitely don't want to do with watercolours. And then that means you can come in with an eraser. If I can find, it's got a little tab to open this and I can't find it. Is that it there? There we go. Lovely. More plastic for the pile. And yeah, because you're putting it on very softly, it means you can go in very softly with an eraser and get rid of those lines without destroying the texture of the paper. Of course, the other way to do this would be to use, you know, a HB or a 2B and then go in with a kneaded eraser, but it's good to have different options like this. But actually, this is a really nice pencil. Yeah, it works. It's working really well. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna let this dry, and I'll come back and I'll link over the top of it with the Pitt Artist pen and create a little elephant down here. But I'll leave that as a little Easter egg when we come back and do the Scrawler Challenge, which, just as a reminder, is, let me get to the right page, Guardians of the Garden. So we'll do that in a couple of weeks. We'll come back and do the Scrawler Challenge video. But for now, as always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.